And now, your official TigerBait live show with Mike Scarborough and Buddy Songy starts now.
All right, everybody, welcome in another edition of TigerBait Live. Mike Scarborough here, Buddy Songy, my sidekick, as usual. And I think we're going to have a big show tonight. Obviously, the title that you see there is LSU on the verge of hiring a defensive line coach. Sure is quiet with the start of spring practice just days away. What's Brian Kelly got working? It seems somewhat quiet. People throwing stuff out there, but nothing concrete as of yet. We'll discuss that. LSU baseball, of course, now number one ranked in D1 baseball. LSU women have lost 2 in a row. Well, LSU women's basketball. And, of course, we got men's basketball that we're just running out the clock and waiting to get to the postseason or the end of this season, on that one. But we got all that and more to discuss tonight. Please hit the like button if you enjoy the show and share the show, please. Share it on your Facebook, your text it out to your fellow LSU friends. It's much appreciated. And if you hadn't hit that subscribe button already, please do. We appreciate all of you that have done so already. All right, buddy, welcome in.
Good to see you, Mike Scarborough. Of course, it is Ash Wednesday for you practicing Catholics. If you got your ashes, don't forget no meat tonight. And everybody needs to cut back with the food. Of course, in South Louisiana, I was talking about this on the radio show. Even the good Catholics, we kind of snicker a little bit because, let's be honest, with the seafood that we have, it's not a big penance when you can't eat meat on a Friday night with your crawfish, with your shrimp, and all the other things. But hope you had a great Lundi Gras. Hope you had a safe and fun Mardi Gras. Didn't feel like Mardi Gras yesterday.
Not at all.
And the guys last night out at the box had to be wondering what it's been like. 9 games in 12 days. That you started last Wednesday, beat Dallas Baptist, had a day off to go to Frisco, won those 3 games, came back early Monday morning, probably 3 or 4 in the morning. North Dakota State, which is now 1-10, they gave LSU a hell of a game last night. But my point is that coaches like to find out a lot of answers. And I think that what we found out is that there's still a lot of questions to be asked and answered. And, how much will this team win in the SEC? You said 19-11. I said 20-10. Ben McDonald said 18-12. All of that's on the table. Softball doing great. They're 5-6. Baseball 1-2-2. Women's basketball had already locked up the double bye, so they don't play again until Friday night. Probably going to be Alabama. Men's basketball, 1 more regular season game. Senior night this weekend, and just an embarrassing performance last night at UK. And so, and as you alluded to, Mike, because the start of spring football on Saturday, we don't have availability Saturday. They also are back out there Tuesday morning, don't have availability. But a week from today and tonight, we'll be giving you your first practice reports on TigerBait, sponsored by a good buddy.
Yeah, Smoky Investment Team. Barton, his son. Glad to have them as part of it with us every year, and those are made possible by them. And we'll crank them up. Let's crank it up next Wednesday.
So I ask you, will LSU have another defensive coach on the line of scrimmage, coaching D tackles? Now everybody knows that Al Davis and Blake Baker and Kevin Peoples all worked at Missouri. There's been some rampant rumors about Al Davis being the guy. Let's talk real quick. Last time we were here, I don't think it had broke yet that Bo Davis had left for the Saints. I think it broke later that night. Or I don't remember us talking about that last week.
Or maybe it was the next morning.
Morning. Yeah. So is it disturbing? Yes, in a way, because we thought that this incredible inroads of coming in with the defensive coaches, D-line coaches every year, man, you had Peoples on the outside and you had Bo Davis. But you know what? This is happening, especially with coaches that are over 50. They can get the NFL pension, as you said. They don't have to recruit all hours of the night. They don't have to listen to these kids say, "Oh, by the way, if you want to retain me, you better get another couple hundred thousand."
And that's
all of that.
That's the worry right now. Okay, it's not just you just get anybody to fill a spot. You got to get this right.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to make a prediction that there's going to be a mass exodus, but look, you've got some defensive tackles who are highly upset that Bo Davis isn't there anymore. And a bunch of them came to LSU because he was there on top of NIL. But there was a few that, he was the guy. And so you better get this hire right and a guy that they can gel with in a hurry so that someone's not thinking, you know what, I don't like this guy. I'm getting in the portal. And then you're right back into the same issues that you've had for years.
Now, the next portal is April 16th through the 25th. However, if you do get into the portal at this juncture, you cannot play on an SEC team.
Right.
Now, that's on paper. The NCAA and Tiger Shark will verify this. They're over in the courtroom. So there could be somebody who actually could go and try to beat the NCAA in court and maybe win. But right now, on paper, if you leave
but on that one, you're suing the SEC.
Yeah. So, but we'll talk a lot of football and whatever else you guys and ladies want to talk about, and hope everybody's doing well.
Yep. All right, let's dive in here. And there he is, Fire 349. Everybody hit the like button. Absolutely. He adds, Mike, I know I've asked this before, but when will LSU honor Jim Hawthorne? So many of my fond memories are of him calling great games. Did they?
I thought they did something for him last year, but then again, maybe not. But we'll make a couple calls on that.
He's in the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame, isn't he?
Yeah.
Okay. And his last year, he was honored nonstop, right? Way games. And I don't know. Did they not do enough? I don't know what is left to do for him.
Yeah. I hadn't talked to Jimmy in a while, but he's been a good friend to me and you for all these years.
You know what I realized the other day? I got in my car and was listening to the baseball broadcast on the radio. Franquez's voice.
Yeah.
It's like it put me in a mode hearing Bill Franquez doing baseball. So you want to talk about Hawthorne doing games? It's just. When you hear Franquez on the radio in that deep voice, it's like that's baseball.
Yeah, pipes. We call him Pipes. He's got some pipes and does a great job. Billy, look, we're fortunate to have the SIDs out there. Everybody talks about how much fun they have, but for us to deliver the stuff, we got to get access. We got to get players. We got to get coaches, and then everybody. And oh, by the way, some of you media people, and Mike didn't ask me to do this, but I'm going to do it anyway. Please, please, please. And I know Shark will agree with this, but get over there and shove Koki out the way. I'm listening to the baseball press conference today, and he asked the first 10 questions. Now, seriously, at some point, Koki, you got to respect other people having a job to do. So please, I'm not giving you an ass chewing on the air, but respect the other media people to get some questions in there.
Well,
and nobody else.
I'm not taking up for Koki. All right. Or maybe I am. It could be no one else is asking. I'm not there to. Sometimes there's guys that just are there recording, and you've got Tiger TV, which are young guys, and typically Tiger TV people, maybe they ask a question. Sometimes they maybe go a couple of press conferences and they don't. If you got a bunch of sports going on, maybe you've got the B or C person from the local, TV stations, and.
Sorry, Koki. I just don't think you should dominate the questions like that. One after another, like 10. Tiger Shark can relate to me on that.
Yeah.
But anyway, I didn't mean to get off that tangent, but I'm still pissed because they don't have a primary microphone.
Koki's a good dude.
For the media, so you can't really hear the questions, and that's why I have a lot of frustration there.
Yeah, Buddy likes to play the press conferences on the radio, and we've got some guys that are in the business of being on television or radio, or mostly TV guys. But I think when it comes to those baseball pressers, they want to see how much of a low talker they can be just to upset the Bud man here.
No, you have explained it to me. The setup is different. They do not have the electronic equipment to have a secondary microphone, but I just think as important as LSU baseball is, they should figure out a way to have press conferences where you can hear the media questions. Not trying to be an old horse's whatever, but that I don't think the fans are asking too much for that.
Yeah. I will say the microphone that we have is what they call a cardioid microphone, which is designed to pick up everything in the vicinity. So you've got a better chance of hearing the questions with our microphone than the other microphones that you see in the stand with the mic flags. All right. American Patriot, let's go. Go Tigers from Todd Davis. He also has D-line coach, could possibly be the Missouri D-line coach. Look, that's been the hot name for days. Is it going to happen? There's been some scuttlebutt. He's not. There's been other people think it's just a matter of time. It's going to be interesting to see. They've got to have a guy there, and they've got to get him there soon.
Well, look, you threw out Eric Henderson and some other names when we first started to talk about this. Bo Davis was making 2 more years at 1.225, whatever, right? I think they could probably.
The guys who are most desirable, buddy, are at big institutions.
Yeah.
With probably have, most of these, when you hire a guy like that,
3 years.
They're getting 3-year deals. Okay. So what are they on year 1 of their current deal? Did they just renew? And because of the time of year it is.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. You think those schools that have them on campus right now are just going to let them go out the door? Yeah. They're going to fight for them because they don't want to be in the situation LSU's in right now.
Yeah.
All right. And then Woodward's like, okay, you need how much? What's his buyout? I'm not paying that.
Yeah.
Right? Because then I'm going to have to give him a 3-year deal on top of that to get him here.
Well, Preston spit it out, and I've spit it out.
And if you don't make the playoffs this year, I don't want to be adding that on top of your.
Well,
yeah.
Bottom line is that Kevin Peoples has done this before, coach both defensive ends and rush ends and D linemen. But most people think he's going to bring a specified D tackle coach. And interesting to see. I asked you if there was a GA or an analyst or somebody that could help them. Interesting to see who's.
If you go down the line and look at the entire roster in the football building, there are no defensive line coaches there.
Somebody's going to be leading the charge for them on Saturday when they open up.
And that was one of the things that someone told me weeks ago. If you notice, and when you go to practice, there's no GAs or other people running the drills. Bo Davis runs everything.
Yeah.
And so.
Wishing the best, Bo. Going with the Saints. It's a weird relationship that some Tiger football fans have with the Saints. But Kellen Moore's come in. Look,
got one little glimmer in 2009. I can tell you, having been born and raised and growing up in Baton Rouge, me and just about every guy in my vicinity were not big Saints fans.
Yeah.
Now, I grew up kind of in that age of the 70s, 80s, when everybody was latching on to the Dallas Cowboys. I was a Baltimore Colts fan because of Burt Jones, but I also like the Pittsburgh Steelers because they beat Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't stand the Cowboys like a lot of people. But I don't know of anybody that was a Saints fan in my vicinity in Sherwood Forest.
And I don't know anybody that tinkles away more money than Mickey, Dead Money, Loomis. So,
but
good luck for the Saints. But hey, Terry Joseph, another good coach coming from Texas. They are putting a heck of a staff. Kellen is going to be a 36-year-old first-year head coach, and you still have Derek Carr strapped with that big contract. But interesting. A lot of Tiger fans not happy that they came in and poached Bo Davis. Mm-hmm. You can't blame LSU. You can't blame the Saints. You can't blame Bo Davis. It's just part of life. This is what happens when people want to change the scenery. And it is getting harder and harder to appease these college football players that come in here and want to get paid before they ever make a tackle, Mike.
Nurse Court says, "What's up, family?" And she adds, "Coaches shouldn't be hard considering how well we springboard them to the next level." And she puts a smiley face.
Good to hear from Nurse Court. She is her and old Danny Girl and Ann and all of the great female listeners and viewers that we have. I hope you're doing well. And look, Nurse Court doesn't have to say and scream, "Throw me something, mister," to get beads. I bet you she got all the beads she wants.
Yeah, 534. Well, she's in North Louisiana. She might be a Mardi Gras person. You know, a lot of this South Louisiana stuff ends at Opelousas. It doesn't really go north. Throwing a little shot at North Louisiana. 53449. Mike, couldn't Peoples coach the entire D line? He's an edge guy. He's. I mean, he could in a pinch, but that's not what you want. Especially in this defense, your edge guys are, you know, kind of like linebackers. Spectrum Wellcare, Pete Jenkins said Bo Davis left due to NIL, and I get it. You throw that into the fact that it was already you already had a lot of guys that said, "Man, I sure would like to be in the NFL because you have a lot more time off. You can have time with family. You can golf. You've got a hell of a lot more leisure time than you do as a college coach." And now your ability to create relationships and then have the rug pulled out from under you at the midnight hour before signing day. You know, if you've got the chops to be appealing to NFL teams, you can see where you want to go. Then you only need 3 years as a coach in the NFL to qualify for the NFL pension, which is very lucrative.
Next Wednesday night, folks, we will tell you Jacobian, Gary, Dominic, McKinley, Sean Washington, Ahmad Bro, all those guys that expected to be back at D-tackle. We'll tell you who's coaching them up, who looks good. McKinley's the guy that I thought, Mike, when he was good, I think he had a game where he had 2 sacks in one game, started a little slow. But this is an important part of this LSU football team because, as we know, Blake Baker and the defense have got to affect the quarterback, got to cover better. And, man, I'm excited to see Whit Weeks and Harold Perkins trying to beat it to quarterback with sacks. So, but it starts in the trenches. We'll see how that development starts next Wednesday as our first availability. They'll be out there starting on Saturday.
Hi, I'm Michael with Pride Roofing.
I'm Little Alex.
Have you been affected by wind, hail, and tornadoes on the North Shore? Well, we're here to help.
Insurance claim, no problem.
We also have a new franchise location in New Orleans.
We don't build projects, we build memories.
Though you know Pride Roofing is the official roofer of TigerBait.com.
In fact, notify TigerBait and we'll give you a free roof inspection. And on top of that, you get a free year subscription. Remember to call us at 855-PRIDE-16.
All right, 855-PRIDE-16. Give them a call. And nobody better. Of course, they're the title sponsor, the official roofing company of TigerBait.com. And you can get that free roof inspection when you call that number. And just by saying TigerBait, they're going to pay for you to have TigerBait Premium free for a year. You cannot beat that. And again, new location here in Baton Rouge, Houma, New Orleans, big on the North Shore, main office in Hammond, over $2 million of shingles in stock at all times. And look, if you're in a bid situation, you've got other companies' estimates on letterhead. Mike tells me at Pride they will beat it by $150 every single time. So you cannot beat it, and you're going to be dealing with a Louisiana company, an LSU grad, and like I always say, I've known Mike and the entire Faraday family my entire life. Super, super people, and you can trust them, and they're going to do right by you.
Commercial, residential, and metal roofs. Don't forget Metal Roofs that made the acquisition with Crown Metals. Has changed the metal roofing business in the state of Louisiana. All we ask is that you call them 1-855-PRIDE-16, get your free roofing inspection, and you go from there. They're good people to work with. They take great pride in the job you do. Going to get there early, going to get it done most of the time done in one day. And as Mike said, very, very competitive with cost. And you will be outstanding. PFM has, I think he's already sent about 10 or 15 people over to them because of the job they've done, and they continue to do it. Pride Roofing, 1-855-PRIDE-16.
See what I did? Nurse Court. Don't get me started on our 318 players, Mike. And I've spent many Mardi Gras in New Orleans and Metairie, just saying.
Who was that?
Nurse Court. But yeah, I'll say this. A buddy of mine lives up in Ruston and talked to another guy in Alexandria. It sounds like they're paying less, or they're getting as much crawfish as we are down here right now per pound. What they're paying up there, and I'm ready for some.
Oh, I knew Nurse Court. Look, Nurse Court's been there. By the way, interesting to see what she's going to say with this upcoming year. I said this today.
She says they Mardi Gras up there. Do they actually take off on Tuesdays? Is school's out on Tuesdays? Is there a parade in Monroe? Is there a parade in Ruston? Is there a parade in Alexandria and Shreveport? That's what I want to know.
Well,
because they don't do parades here on Tuesday.
No, they do not.
In fact, when I grew up in Baton Rouge, Tuesday was never a day off of school. Now, when I moved to Lafayette was always basically half the week was off.
But the primary
but
question,
Baton Rouge was kind of in between New Orleans and Lafayette. Baton Rouge was a no-go zone with Mardi Gras. But St. Patrick's Day parade is bigger here.
Yeah.
Right?
But the question I have for Nurse Court is she going to be walking on eggshells? Because, you know, she talks to a lot of people on the internet throughout the country. And let's be honest, the bullseye is on LSU and BK. You're going to be on a big game August 30th, not only locally, not only the SEC, everybody around the country is going to be watching that game. And Dabo is trying to show that he can win without spending a lot of money on NIL. And here's the ironic thing. The Will Hell guy from Purdue, what we hear on that? $800K on him, something in that neighborhood? It was big money, whatever they paid for him.
It was more than that.
It was more than that. But anyway, their quarterback's coming back. Nuss is coming back. Man, right out of the gate. And you can talk about, I want to see a week 0 game. You can talk about playing a cupcake. This is a must win, as everybody knows. And we shall see. But they're going to be nervous, both teams, before that game. But I'm excited for the matchup.
Yeah. Fire says, Mike, also, how's Doug Morrow doing? I don't know. Have you, what's the latest?
I haven't heard much on Doug Morrow or Dan Barnett. Of course, both of them had to take some absences from the broadcast last year for medical situations. So I don't want to speak of it. I don't know, but I just hope that everybody out there puts them in your prayers.
Absolutely. BK is getting $10 million a year in 3 years, and we're still talking about the exact same defensive issues and asking the same questions. Continue to replace coaches, etc. If we miss the playoffs, then what? Then you'll be mad on this show. You'll be mad on message boards. You'll be mad on sports talk radio, and but he's not going anywhere.
No,
but you'll be mad and you'll be frustrated.
But what that does, Mike, if you lose the opener, is it gives LSU little room for error.
I'm telling you right now, they lose the opener, and I said this on Buddy's show earlier today, every submissive jellyfish media guy who never rocks the boat, I think that everybody will be rocking the boat that week.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be pretty around here at all.
No way.
Don't lose that opener. I'm just telling you.
I apologize to Coke. He's a good guy and young guy. I didn't mean to go off on
I know my post-game show will not be pretty if that happens.
Oh, look. But it will be interesting because if you lose that game, now you've got no room for error. And as we know, the schedule flips the same team, but you're playing them on the road. So you got Ole Miss on the road. You got Alabama on the road. You got Oklahoma on the road. You got Vandy on the road. And so you lose that game. 9-2. I don't see them getting.
Yeah, it's like you want to throw down the gauntlet because you're going to lose a game at Clemson in week 1. I mean, it's unfortunate, but that's where BK's at because of the nauseatingly embarrassing opening loss streak right now, losing streak, and how imperative it is for them to get to the playoffs.
I don't think you could get there at 9-3, but there is some scoop here now. The committee is tweaking, and there is a possibility, Mike, that in the next month that the committee, and by the way, they just added 5 new guys onto the committee, and we'll give you the names when we get closer to that. It's early to talk about that now, but lo and behold, they could actually add 14 and start it this year. Originally, it's scheduled for 26 to be 14. But as we know, there's a lot of lobbying going on, and the thing they've got to do, and everybody expects them to do, change the seating to where the conference championships, the top 4, will not get the buys like they did this last year.
Wilk, how much longer does McMahon last? He's going to have a nice little chest of money to spend in the portal in the coming few months, and it's going to be imperative that he loads up there and has a significantly stronger 25-26 season. I mean, he's basically got to make the NCAA tournament next year, don't you think? Can he barely miss it? Can he be a bubble team at the end and be fine for another year? Or does he have to make the NCAA tournament?
All I know is
it's a 1-year proposition, buddy. But what does that 1 year have to be to go to 2 years?
Well, how are you going to sell season tickets? How are you going to get people involved? This is a runaway freight train right now. Somebody should have got their butts chewed after last night. That's unacceptable. What happened?
I think
unacceptable.
I think it's NCAA tournament. Don't you think? It's got to be.
Yeah, I mean, I don't expect Matt McMahon to make it next year. I hope I'm wrong. I'd love to see them go, 20 wins or whatever. But I just have not seen enough. They've got to get some ball players, and he has some trouble with adjustments. They play one good half and then get killed in the second half.
Todd Davis, Mike, who is the lady that helps out Scott Woodward? Well, I don't know if she helps him out. She's pretty formidable herself. That's Kelly Zinn, and Stephanie Rimp before her that left for what UNLV was it University of Nevada?
Yeah.
Does a lot of work, and outside of football, I think if you probably questionnaire all the Tiger sports coaches and said, who do you deal with the most, Woodward or Kelly Zinn, they'll all tell you Kelly Zinn. She's a worker bee. And then Woodward is, it seems a lot of his primary focus is football, which, of course that drives the truck. So that pays the bills. Yeah, this is I'm skipping around. Brad David, does Will Wade get a job in the SEC? Man, there was a lot of scuttlebutt on Sunday about him in the Texas job. And so there's some people who believe he's getting it. And there's others think that it's not happening. I think he's gonna have some options.
Yeah. And we've got some high level guys that around the SEC, and I think it's obvious Will Wade will get a job now, whether it's at Texas or Ole Miss or somewhere else. That looks to be on the horizon. But as you know, a lot of this stuff has to work the right time, and you got buyouts. And look, Texas still owes their coach right now a bunch of money.
I mean, look, I don't think there's any way that Will Wade sits down with an athletic director and he doesn't impress with his knowledge, his get up and go. I mean, heck, did you watch his McNeese press conference when he got hired?
Yeah.
He knew the rosters of every team in that league. I mean, heck, when he was at LSU, he would pull players and you'd be like, how did you know to go get that guy? Where'd you get him from? How'd you find out? What was your relationship to be able to go all the way out west and find that guy? That's where he's highly impressive. So I think my point is that because he had the show cause, I don't think when you've got the Bruce Pearls of the world and those types in the SEC with the things that they've done at their previous stops, Will Wade will be just fine.
Yeah. And I think that's the biggest problem that you just hit with what I have with Matt McMahon. I just don't think he's in that level with the SEC coaches, Bruce Pearl and all the big boys.
Yeah.
But look, he's going to get another year. I don't know what they're going to do selling season tickets. I don't know how much money or who they're going to be able to entice to come over here. Here's the worst part of it. Victorious Miller, Robert Miller, Curtis Givens III, Damian Collins, all these guys that can come back. If he gets beat up and loses a lot of those guys that played for him this year, he's going to have 4 or 5 players left. He's going to have a reload like Missouri did. Now, Missouri went 0-18, got a coach in there, and they've been fantastic all year long. So I hope I'm wrong, but man, some things got to change to get people excited about men's basketball again.
Absolutely. All right. It's that time of the show. Got to talk to you about Struby's. What a cowboy ribeye on the screen looks very, very good. Of course, located 107 3rd Street, Struby's is absolutely one of your premier restaurants in Baton Rouge, and they provide a 5-star dining experience for a reasonable price. Locally owned, again, ownership right there in the building, and the best part is all the certified, all the ingredients are fresh. And of course, they use USDA prime black Angus steaks, 100% certified Wagyu New York strip. And, you get the pork chop, the black truffle lobster pasta, full seafood menu, great desserts. And so go check out their menu at strubys.com. You'll see what I'm talking about. And when you make a reservation or if you go in as a walk-in, please tell the hostess or your waiter that TigerBait sent you in.
Hey, when you call for your reservation, they'll tell you about parking. They'll tell you how long to wait. They will get you set up with a party, a table. And once again, I am, my preference is towards that pork chop, but I know you love that cowboy ribeye. So we will have a meeting, and everybody on my team will be eating pork chops, and the big boys will be eating steak with Mike Scarborough.
Drive in style and luxury with a new Genesis from Genesis of Lafayette. Buy a 2023 Genesis G70 3.3T Sport Prestige Executive Demo and pay only $39,870. Buy a new 2025 GB70 and take $2,000 off the MSRP with value owner, competitive owner incentive, plus finance for 2.99% APR for 60 months or 3.99% APR for 72 months. Don't forget to start your shopping online by visiting genesisoflafayette.com.
There you go, Genesis of Lafayette. They announced last week that Genesis of Lafayette has been the top-ranked Genesis dealership in Louisiana for 2 consecutive years. And that's based on new vehicle sales volume as recognized by Genesis Motor America. That honor reflects their commitment to luxury, innovation, and top-tier customer service. And they're an amazing team. Loyal customers have made that possible. And again, I say it every week. There's a reason why they sell more Genesis than any dealer in Louisiana. It's worth your time to call Genesis of Lafayette, 877-856-2961, and they'll deliver the car to your driveway. You live in Alexandria, you live in Lake Charles, Baton Rouge, give them a call. They're going to find what you want. You want a particular interior color, they'll go the extra mile to find it for you. They're not going to act like they can't get it and that you must buy what they have on the lot like some of the other ones. All right. Yeah, fire. Mike, do you see that Haley Van Lith was named Big 12 Player of the Year? She has had an incredible year, and she's it just didn't work here. Trying to make her a point guard. She's a 2, and congrats to her. You would have loved to have seen her flourish here, but it didn't happen.
No, and listen, this was probably a good experience for her. She got into this situation, and there were a lot of divas when she came. She's getting coached by Kim Mulkey. Everybody knows what Coach Mulkey's done. Unprecedented as a player, as an assistant, and as a head coach. But she's a shooter. She needs the ball. She needs her shots. You got Angel Reese. You got Anissa. You got Flauget. You got Michaela. I mean, sometimes it's just like this year. This is a problem with KG. KG wants to shoot the ball. You got to feed Flauget, Michaela, and Anissa before she gets her balls and her shots. And the same thing was with Haley Van Lith. I haven't seen her play. I thought she was a little heavy over here, feeding the darn media chocolate chip cookies with you all the time.
Brownies. She made us brownies.
Brownies. But I know she's had a great year, and she will.
I'm because she kind of hit the portal and just left. I never felt like she settled in here at all.
Like no, I don't think she did.
It was almost like she was a hired gun.
Yeah.
She came in and did her job. It didn't work out, and she got hired to go somewhere else. But I mean, heck, the fan base here, took to her and pulled for her. I hope she didn't have a sour taste overall of her Baton Rouge LSU experience. I mean, wished it would have went better, but it just didn't.
But that's when you learn. That's when you get better, when you have adversity.
Yep.
Nobody learns when you're winning and going undefeated. You learn when you're down and you're blowing games and you're getting the lessons of life. And you learn a lot more through adversity than you do the good times.
Ed Murphy, why isn't Collins Williams mentioned as a solid candidate for defensive D-line position coach? That's something Bart Smokey brought up.
Who's that? Williams?
Kyle Williams.
Kyle Williams. Because he's got a gig with Buffalo. That's why. He was at Ruston, and I'm pretty sure he took a gig with Buffalo, the Bills. That was months ago.
It's not always guaranteed that a former great player is a good coach. And I think he probably is a good to great coach. But how much money? I mean, how long was his career? 13, 14 years? How much money do you think he socked away?
Yeah.
All right. I don't imagine he spent a lot of it. He's got a lot of money and he retired. Do you think he wants to do an NIL and transfer?
That's what I was getting ready to say. You talk about getting into grinder, recruiting all the way to this is why Pete Jenkins.
He's a golfer. He's a hunter. He's a fisherman. You think he wants to give up all that?
I think he would be.
If I was in his shoes, I
think he's an excellent coach. He brings a lot of leadership, charisma, character.
But he's an assistant D-line coach, right, at Buffalo?
I don't know what the actual job was, but he did leave Ruston.
It's really like part-time.
Yeah.
He's got a full life outside of that gig in Buffalo.
And I don't think people realize, this is why Pete invariably quit. Saban wanted Pete to recruit till midnight almost every night of the year. And Pete finally told him, he said, look, I can't go at this pace anymore. And so it is not easy on your family, on your wife, raising the kid. That's why it's justified all the dollars they get. But LSU's going to be fine. I think they'll be fine, and I think they're going to get somebody. And I think that certainly working with Peoples and Blake Baker are going to be part of the equation. They're going to have some familiarity with this next guy.
Hey, Schubert, some schools are announcing no spring game. What is LSU thinking? Well, LSU is going to have an event that day, but it's not going to be a spring game, right? What the format's going to be, I don't know.
I think that's probably one of the first questions that Wilson Alexander with the Advocate will ask about, look, Missouri and
well, sure as hell ain't going to be Koki. He's going to be scared to ask questions now.
Listen, Koki, don't take it personally, but sometimes you got to let other people ask a few questions. I mean, I'm not trying to be Ron Higgins. Remember, Ron got on that girl or that guy and said, don't say we and all that other stuff. I'm not trying to be some old dinosaur talking down to him.
I like Koki.
But bottom line is that we've got some exciting stuff coming here. I get this question all the time. What LSU team is going to be the next team to win a national championship?
I'm going baseball.
You're going baseball? Believe it or not, I'm going gymnastics. And I know it's tough to repeat, but I think they're good enough to beat Oklahoma if they certainly stay healthy.
Who has the most impediments to get to the national championship? Gymnastics or baseball?
Tough right now. Baseball's loaded. Tennessee, Arkansas, all the heavyweights, it's loaded.
But you got a lot of heavyweights in gymnastics in the SEC.
Yeah, well, we'll see.
And then you got to deal with the UCLAs and all them of the world.
Yeah. Fort Worth will host the Final Four again. I expect them to be there. And you and I both expect them to get to Omaha. But look, you know how it is with injuries and peaking at the right time and all the things you need to do at the end of the year to max out.
Spectrum Wellcare. Coach Mulkey never adjusted the offense for Van Lith's strengths. Yes, she wanted to be a point guard. And you can argue that point guard is still an issue this year. You can argue it very well. Fire 3449, Mike, I read that Ethan Fry played quarterback at Rose Pond. How good was he at football? I never saw his tape. He was baseball. He's a baseball kid.
I didn't see his tape either. Now, if you're looking for another quarterback, in case you have not heard this, but Jawan Johnson, and Mike didn't like it.
Jawan Johnson, when I went to the top 28 to see Caroline Bradley yesterday for Oak Grove, Wear Out Westlake, and she's going to play for a national championship. Kaylin Rice, LSU assistant, was there. But when I got there early, the LCA game was going on, and up in the stands was Jawan Johnson.
I hope you didn't tell him you don't like him at quarterback.
No. God dang it. What's the girl from LC on the team? Women's basketball. The freshman.
Jada Richard?
Jada Richard and Jawan Johnson were sitting in the stands watching
okay.
LCA. Of course, they're LCA grads. And, everybody wants to say who's the power couple. And they immediately want to give it to Flaugier and well, who's the next power couple? Could be Jawan Johnson and Jada Richard.
Oh, look at you with some scoop.
Yeah.
Jawan Johnson will be along with Michael Van Buren and Garrett Nussmeier. Obviously, another question to ask that BK will get asked about is we'll find out when we go out there Wednesday. Is Colin Hurley going to be out there? Most of us don't think that he will be out there for spring, but that'll be a question. And the future of the spring game. Look, the SEC likes to televise these things, so I don't think they want to have everybody just say we're not going to have the spring game. So we'll see. But a lot of it started with Rule at Nebraska because they see the film, they watch, and then they come and poach these players. And so now they're even fooling with the transfer portal so that spring games are after the portal, so you can't see these guys and get poached. But that's why Rule originally canceled his spring game.
By the way, bringing up Jada Richard, are you like me where you think she doesn't get enough minutes?
Absolutely.
And it's also every post-game Mulkey on our channel.
I know.
Jada Richard comes up.
I know.
And everybody wants more Jada Richard. And I agree. And I think even more so now, I think Mulkey's first team at LSU can at least play with his team, but I tend to think it might even be a better team overall.
Yeah. Well, you've got a better memory with me on that. All I can tell you is that
we had Kayla Pointer. And
there's no doubt.
And you had good inside play too. And that team had a chip on their shoulder.
Yeah. Got to limit the turnovers. Got to keep the bigs out of foul trouble. Got to get some consistent 3-point shot. You got to keep Anissa and Michaela. And I think Michaela at times has started to take over when she's feeling it. Flaugier, you think she'll be better than she was obviously before the shin problems. But double bye, looking to play Alabama more than likely on Friday sometime.
Brad DeVade, who was the reporter that told Kelly if he wins, she'll be on time?
You playing hooky or you don't know?
She was pretty big. She's probably a big narcissist, if I remember. Yeah, I know who it is.
Her name was Leah Van.
Yeah.
Who, by the way, since we're having fun with the media today, sent Feinbaum a text and said, I deserve to be on your show.
I saw it. That's why I said what I said.
So, look, the media folks are crazy, and myself included. But, look, BK, back to this year, I had another guy that blistered me with a text on.
There's
on
some
BK.
media people that truly need, someone to talk to.
What's that?
About professional help. I'll just leave it at that.
Okay.
So after we've sitting here and ripped on media people all night,
I'm sure there'll be some responses back, which is fine and dandy. If you dish it out, you got to be able to take it. I'm just having a little fun. I just can't believe, though, that Cobble or Jacques or John Eaves or any of those guys wasn't in there. That's all. I was looking for a little bit of a different voice after 10 questions, Mike.
Yeah. Well, I think they were there for the game, but that game ended late last night.
Yeah. You make a good point. Everybody probably is going home.
Yeah.
By the way, once again, Tigers are hosting North Dakota State again. And then after tomorrow's day off, they will have North Alabama coming in Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Next Friday, they host Missouri, first SEC weekend of the year.
Alumni Hall, everybody. Get over to Perkins Road. Best place to get all your LSU, officially licensed LSU gear. They've got it all. Nike, Champion, Johnny O, Peter Millar, Alma Reserve, Southern Tide, much more. And great stuff for baseball season. Their baseball stuff is out of this world. They've got the 2 for $38 T-shirts. You name it, they've got it. every color baseball jersey and the youth jerseys they've got in all those colors. The kids loved LSU baseball jerseys. That's where you need to go to get one. Shop at their store in Perkins Row or shop anytime online at alumnihall.com. And I got a code to share with you for you, all my friends out there. Use the code, all one word, TigerBait, all one word, in store or online, and you're going to get 10% off your total purchase. You can use that anytime, every time, TigerBait, and you're going to get 10% off everything you buy at Alumni Hall. And if you everything over $99, you get free shipping. And like I always tell you, just about everything ships from the Baton Rouge location, so you're getting it very quickly. It's not coming from a warehouse in Vermont or Maine, and you're waiting a week or 2 weeks. Or if you're like me, in a part of town where it seems like UPS and FedEx hate you and everything gets delayed, you're not going to have that problem with Alumni Hall.
Always a lot of traffic around there. Go in there and spend there. The girlfriends, grandkids went in there, and it's so funny. They looked at it 30 minutes. It just goes by so fast. You get looking at so many things. Now with the new baseball stuff, trust me, they've got something for everybody over there. Go see them at Alumni Hall.
Spectrum Well Care. Buddy, he asked you, Buddy, which position group are you going to check out first next week? I know which one I'm going to. You go ahead.
Well, I want to see the offensive line. I want to see if the Virginia Tech center is going to come in here and take over the reins and start. And if he does that, then that means DJ Chester is going to go to one of the guard spots. Obviously, Brian had an article on TigerBait about that. So I'm going to be checking out the offensive line. Then we're going to check out the secondary. I mean, when is LSU going to get back to DBU? And I think with Mansour Delane, speaking of Virginia Tech, I think he comes in and locks down. Hearing a lot of good things about him already. DJ Pickett, is he big enough, strong enough, and ready to play? Is he ready to start on the night of August 30th? At their version of Death Valley, as a true freshman, of course, Ashton Stamps has got to get better with cover skills. What are you going to do with Perkins at star linebackers? But right now, I'd say offensive line, defensive secondary, and I'm going to be looking at that punter. And special teams is always interesting because people don't talk a lot about it, but you can win or lose a couple games every year on special teams. And it hadn't been a forte at BK in the first 3 years.
I think it's all those, but I'm most interested in the edge rushers. I'm really excited about that group. But I'll tell you this. The first day we get 20 minutes, and let's say they're in the indoor facility and we've got to go up them stairs and we get up on that catwalk to film. It's not like we're going, I'm going to the group I want to see more than anything else. You're going up there and you're starting to film and look at whatever's in front of you. Or if it's outside, whatever group is right in front of you, as soon as you walk in that gate, you're going to be paying attention to first, and then you'll get to but if you could have it your way, and as soon as you walked in the gate and you could choose which group was in front of you, for me, it'd be edge rushers.
And look, a lot of new wide receivers, excited to see the speeds, excited to see the size. We mentioned Chris Helton affectionately. Look, he was hurt all last year. This is his money year. You know, you keep asking me.
And the bad thing about offensive line is they're always in that middle area, tucked away where you can't really see them.
Yeah. So we're going to do as much as we can for you, and we will have those spicy reports sponsored by Man Defined Meats, where flavor and spice really do say it all. Don't forget the official smoked sausage of LSU Athletics. If you go out to the box, you go to Tiger Park, get some of those products, the boudin, the bunless sausages, the sausage. And I did not eat any sausage today, but I am spicy. So Amanda is still sponsoring me, and we appreciate Bobby Yarborough, Claire, and everybody over there.
Absolutely. And I really need to talk about Dykes Electrical. Talk about super people, the official electrical company of TigerBait.com. And again, a locally owned and operated company, official electrical company of TigerBait.com. And no matter how big or small your electrical needs may be, Dykes is wired for success. You need a brand new 10-story office building, they can wire that. A 200,000 square foot warehouse you need built, they can wire that. Expanding your existing commercial building, they can wire that. And changing out a breaker, whole electrical panel, or just a receptacle in your home, they can wire that. Upgrading the lighting in your home or office, they can wire that. Give them a call today at the number on your screen, 216-9180 for a free estimate on your project. And make sure to let them know TigerBait sent you in. And just a super group of people, and they care about service, and highly competitive as well. They do a lot of work at big and small all around South Louisiana.
All right, I got one coming in here. Fish says, so Mike, how many practices will you watch before you give a projected seasonal record this year? And by the way, let's
I'm at 9-3 right now. Can I get the 10-2? Probably. I think I can get the 10-2.
Okay.
How many? Think about it. How many people are going to be at 9-3 and are going to say, but if they win the opener, they're going 10-2?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, you can make that prediction right now. I think every media guy out there is probably going to be is going to be saying something along those lines.
But he says he likes your predictions. Of course, I want to see what they look like, and it's going to be interesting. I don't think BK really wants to have a spring game, but on the other hand, I don't think he can. I think he's got to see a little bit, even though it's vanilla, and you know, you don't see a lot.
I go to this, right? Every year that BK's been here, isn't it quite possible that this team could finish 9-3, but actually be the best team overall that BK's had? But because the schedule.
Yeah, we don't know how tough the schedule is. You're finishing with Oklahoma at the end. They're going to be appreciably better. Vandy, Diego Pavia got another year, controversial ruling on the JC time. What's Caleb DeBoer going to be like? And Ole Miss, LSU stole that game last year. Is Kiffin finally going to live up? And obviously those teams that you played on the road last year will all be coming in to Tiger Stadium. And so, look, the schedule right now looks tough. Mike and I are still projecting preseason AP poll, LSU 9, 10, 11 in that window.
I put them right inside the top 10.
Yeah. So, and Clemson probably be right around.
And so you're saying that, but you're also thinking 9-3. I think the schedule just doesn't do you any favors. Kelly Watley, great show, Mike and Buddy. Kelly, thank you so much for that. Kendall Rogers, batter up tomorrow. We record that tomorrow, and Emily and I will be doing Inside LSU Women's Basketball sometimes tomorrow as well. I'm sure it's going to be in the evening. I'll post that as soon as I know for sure what time we're going to do that. Yeah. And LSU baseball at the box this weekend. I'm going to tell you what you need to do on Sunday. Guess where you need to go for brunch?
Capital City Grill.
Absolutely. They best brunch in town. You got to get over there. 100 Lafayette Street. You see the Eggs Benedict on there. They got the best chicken and waffles. And of course, you can get the burgers, the sandwiches, the seafood pasta. But their Sunday brunch from 11 to 2. Get over there, get you something to eat before you head over to Alex Box and Capital City Grill again. It's also a great lunch spot during the week and fantastic food. Best club sandwich in town, best carrot cake in town. And tell them TigerBait sent you in. Again, 100 Lafayette Street. And I'm excited. I was asking Buddy when he drove up today because I'm standing out there. I'm like, boy, it's 5:45 and we got a lot of light out here. When's daylight savings time? I didn't realize it was this weekend. So it's about to get really nice when you have the longer days.
When you go to bed Saturday night, regardless of what time it is, you push forward, move forward, and so we will get an hour of more sunlight. And oh, by the way, gymnastics Friday night, last home meet of the year, senior night. Haley Bryant and a cast of incredible, classy athletes. Hosting Georgia at 7:30. Softball doing great things. I kind of went out on the limb and said that they were going to get to OKC this year because of Jaden Heavener and Sydney Berzon. And Tori Edwards, a utility player, already had a couple of grand slams. LSU hitting a lot of grand slams.
What's the other national champion that you're talking about?
Well, I mean, they've got two legitimate pitchers this year. Gives them a chance. And then, of course, baseball, as we said, going on. Men's basketball with senior day. Can't expect a big crowd for that this weekend. And, of course, the tournament's starting Look, Brian Holland with WVLA and I were talking, and I said, Kim doesn't really care about the SEC tournament. He said, well, I think she's just playing possum. I don't see any reason that they should care too much about this SEC tournament for the women coming up this weekend.
Well,
I know they're going to try to win.
Like I said last week, look, let's say you won out. You didn't lose those 2 games. I think it would matter because LSU would be legitimately you'd be talking about them if they do a little something extra in the SEC tournament. Could they get a 1?
Mm-hmm.
But now, what do you think they're going to end up with? Let's say they lose to Alabama. They're 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, are they going to be a 3 or a 4?
Well, they're on the fringe. No, they're on the fringe of a 2 and a 3 right now. They're on the fringe. But here's the problem I see: they're going to get sent out west with the elites, with the Sweet 16 and the elites.
They're sending them out west.
Two spots.
No matter what,
Birmingham or Spokane, Washington, they're probably going out west if they win the 2 games at the Pete Maravich.
So political. They never are going to give Kim Mulkey her due. It just I talked about it last week. If LSU deserves a 1 seed, they're going to give them a 2. They deserve a 2, they're going to give them a 3. You want to be in Birmingham for regional, and so all your fans can come in mass, then they're going to send you to Spokane.
Mm-hmm.
That's just how they do Kim Mulkey. And
I wouldn't expect them to be in Birmingham.
Yeah.
But anyway, interesting to see. Flauget will not play. Coach Mulkey made that decision. Good decision to rest the shins. And so now KG, Miracle Shepherd, and others, but got to get more consistent play from the point guards, and got to turn it over a little bit less.
Mark Cummings says he likes the Burrow, Jaden, and Ric Flair bobbleheads. Look, I've got a new one. I'm going to show you. Hold on a second.
Here we go. Breaking stuff. He's got a new bobblehead.
This is the new one. This one came in. Jaden Daniels. I got 2 of them. Preston's asking me for the other one.
Imagine that.
I don't know if I should give it to him.
Well,
in his junior year, he had Danny Etling rated higher on his all-time LSU quarterback list. I kind of feel like he doesn't deserve to get that other one.
Well, I'm glad we brought this up at the end of the show because I want to go back and revisit something. And it just goes to show you what opinion and how you think.
I might raffle off. I might do some sort of giveaway for the other one.
Yeah. But I got to ask you, after his first year, okay, there were 2 games that LSU played. He threw for 86 and 85 yards. And I had a lot of people wearing me out. I was going like, he's going to California. He's getting his receivers. He's trying to get better. But he had this sick propensity, unfortunately, that when his primary one wasn't open, he tuck it and ran. Did you have any idea that young man would go from where he did in year 1 to year 2 and win a Heisman? I don't think anybody did, Mike.
No, but, man.
You hoped he improved, but he made a hell of an improvement and jumped from year 1 to year 2.
His junior year, he was aggravating everybody with, not, waiting too long to let it go. But what he was doing with his legs his junior year was always there.
Yeah.
And it's like I saw right through that. I'm like, who cares how they get down there? He's getting them down there. It was just, and then what he did in the offseason to do what he did, and then this year as a rookie, almost taking I almost said Redskins, almost getting to the Super Bowl, man.
But my point is this: you think a guy has this much talent, but with work and the help from the good Lord and the cards fall the right way, who knows? Caden Durham might light it up this year. Who knows? That kid looked really good before Miles Frazier fell on it.
And now, so just to expand on this, okay, unless we see what the Bengals do in the draft and free agency to shore up some of their things around Burrow, are we all of a sudden starting to thinking that maybe, because it's not guaranteed that you have a run and get to the Super Bowl. And Burrow got there, and how many more times might he get there?
Yeah.
Is it going to elude him now the rest of the way? And is it possible that Jaden Daniels ends up having a better pro career than Burrow?
Yeah.
The Bengals need to get some more offensive linemen and everything else and shore up that defense. because the offense carried them. But it's a great problem to have because they represent LSU well, and it's done great things for Joe Sloan and BK and the ability to attract high-profile offensive players.
Well, it's interesting you say that because, I like to have the parallels, and Zach Taylor is the coach. And I watch the Bengals a lot because the Bengals are a lot of fun, and he has trouble inside the red zone. And so does BK. I'm going to say it right now. You can go back and look at the film. Once you get inside, and BK likes to have fun with the red, white, and blue zone and all that stuff he talks about. But when you get inside that red zone, you've got to score touchdowns. And Joe Sloan and Brian Kelly have got to do a better job of getting the right call in at the right time. How much do you think Joe Sloan is
have the right
better?
running back on the field?
Absolutely. I mean, we could go on and on and on, but
come on, Frank.
My point is that James Franklin with Penn State is the absolute worst. His record against top 5 is even worse than BK. But once again, you got to win games. You got to have the little things like special teams, but you got to call the right plays inside the red zone, especially with this offense and us and the utilization of all that talent. This is what's so fun going into this spring in year 4, because this is put up or shut up. He's still going to be here, but if they go 9-3 and don't make the playoffs, it's going to be a very, very upset fan base. Is that fair to say?
Yep.
Okay.
All right, everybody. That's the show. If you enjoyed it, please hit the like button. Thanks to all of you for participating. Again, batter up tomorrow with Kendall Rogers. That'll load up hopefully by midday. Depends on when Kendall's going to plug in and we'll get it done. And then look for Inside LSU Women's Basketball as well. So still got a lot for you on TigerBait.com. By the way, Brian Lazar has done multiple pre-spring previews breaking down each position. You can find those on the front page of TigerBait. If you're not a subscriber to TigerBait, please go over and subscribe. $1, you can try us out. You're going to get all of our practice footage and photo galleries and everything that we're going to have starting next week. And I think you'll really enjoy the website. We'd like to have you as a part of our community.
And next Wednesday night, we will give you some updates. We get BK on that particular day, so we'll probably do a report. I don't remember what the time will be. We hadn't got the time yet.
I'm going to shoot 4K next week. I've got a camera that's fantastic, and I'm going to really shoot y'all some nice practice footage.
So we'll have film of practice. We'll have BK. We'll have a practice report, and then we'll come back here with more tidbits on a Wednesday night.
All right, buddy. Thanks for tuning in. Koki, you're a good guy, and we'll see you guys on the other side. Good night.